My hat goes off to Veterans Administration.
Vietnam veteran Gary Harding says at age 62, he is an example of why it is never too late to seek counseling for the combat wounds we can't see.
It's been a living nightmare because I held it inside for years.
It was almost 40 years ago that this 19-year-old high school dropout turned military-trained M60 machine gunner volunteered to go to war.
We lost our youth there, and we had to grow up awful quick. I feel like I left part of me there. Part of me never came home.
Back home, after 2 tours in the jungle, even years after his service, if Harding faced a trigger like the smell of diesel fuel or heard a thunderstorm, he'd go into battle mode, tense up, get defensive, and turn to booze in order to sleep.
But I fought it for years and years and years before I seek counseling. Because honestly, I didn't know what's wrong with me. I thought I was a crazy man.
His first group counseling meeting with other Vietnam vets came in 2008, some 39 years after he first stepped into combat.
It did bring tears to my eyes because I knew I wasn't alone then. I wasn't the only person suffering from this. But Jim helped me to realize that there was hope with what I was dealing with.
The inscription says, Jim Caldwell, thank you for your kindness and caring.
Jim Caldwell is a recently retired counselor who worked for years in the Veterans Administration, helping service members cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD.
I'd like to say that post-Vietnam, there was no help. If you displayed the symptoms of PTSD in the 70s, you were diagnosed as either having schizophrenia or you were diagnosed as having bipolar disorder. So what's changed is no one really knew what it was post-Vietnam. Everyone knows what it is, but the vets are still leery to come in.
What makes Caldwell different than other counselors is his war record. He too is a veteran and witnessed his own share of horrors attached to a helicopter unit in Vietnam.
I guess I decided that the world was a little more violent than I had known, a little more dangerous. If you're looking for things to make sense, you don't have time to make sense. You just do. You act. You react to situations. There's a lot of numbness for me. It's a long time ago. I was young. I think education was my form of therapy.
Jim, he would always kind of just reach a little bit further inside of me every time I seen him. And I told him things that I never would tell my wife. He knew almost what I was thinking a lot of times.
Caldwell says PTSD should be called an injury like any other battlefield wound. He says it is a rewiring of the brain through chemical changes. Changes this counselor says should be treated with medications, therapy, or a combination of the two.
You can't just say to someone, okay, if you think this way, it's going to go away.
It was like I was saying goodbye to a good friend. Not a counselor, but a good friend. And that's how much he means to me.
After close to a year of weekly counseling sessions, Gary Harding says he feels better than he has in decades about his life and forging a deeper connection with his family.
It's given me hope. And I told Jim last time I seen him, I says, I think I'm getting better. You know, I think I can probably live with this now. I'm not totally there, but I'm working at it.